Hello YouTubers and Doctor Who fans, and welcome to a Doctor Who CD review. As you can see before you today, I am going to be taking a look at Dark Eyes. That's right everybody, I'm going to be taking a look at the fantastic Big Finish audio box set, which stars Paul McGann as the 8th Doctor. So first of all, let's take a look at the box art of this box set, which was released late on in 2012, around the time of when the first part of Series 7 of the Revived era was airing for the first time. So first off, we have the classic Doctor Who logo, which of course made its return in the TV movie. That's where it was mainly used. The TV movie, of course, being Paul McGann's only full TV story, apart from The Night of the Doctor, the minisode which saw his regeneration into a War Doctor. And this logo is featured on a lot of the classic merchandising, and it was used in the 3rd Doctor era as well, even though that logo was green, whereas this one is blue. And one of my favourite logos out of the whole franchise, in my opinion. At the centre we have Paul McGann in his new outfit, which debuted in this audio. So they took new pictures of his Doctor because they kept on using the same old pictures used from the TV movie, and Paul McGann himself actually got tired of this. So here we have a new look for him, which is really nice, and I actually quite prefer this new look compared to the old look of the 8th Doctor, as you see in his original appearance in the TV movie. On his left we have his companion Molly O'Sullivan, as played by Ruth Bradley. On the right we have Toby Jones, who plays a mysterious character in this audio. I'll talk more about him during this review. And on either side we have these Daleks, and you can see they are reminiscent of the 1960s Daleks. They look a lot like the Daleks that first appeared in The Chase, as you can see they have all the metal grating that wasn't apparent on the Daleks in the first Dalek story and the Dalek invasion of Earth. And of course at the top we have these eyes, these dark eyes, as alluded by the title of the story, Dark Eyes. And the box set itself, it's a really nice design. It's like this sort of dark bluish, purpley colour. I really like it. And of course at the very bottom you can also see there's some of this wiring going on here, and that is to do with the first part of this box set, which is called The Great War. So at the bottom it just says starring Paul McGann, Ruth Bradley, Peter Egan and Toby Jones, with Nicholas Briggs as the Daleks. It says Big Finish at the top right hand corner. And there is the side, very nice. It just gives you a look more at the characters. You see Paul McGann in his full costume with his new sonic screwdriver as well, and it just gives you details about what's inside the box set. So it said Dark Eyes, The Great War, Fugitives, Tangled Web, X and the Daleks, and it says Big Finish at the bottom. And you can see here it says number 1, as this was the first Dark Eyes box set, as there was follow-ups to this. And at the back it just gives you a synopsis of what the box set is all about. So it tells you who's in this again. I've already told you that, it's on the front as well. And it gives you a quote. It says, "I really hoped it would be a wonderful view, to look back from the end of everything, to see how things finally turned out." And the synopsis is, the Doctor is looking for hope, but instead he finds himself on a mission. The Time Lords have uncovered terrifying fragments of an insane plot to destroy the universe, and somehow, at the centre of that plot, is one random female in Earth's history, Molly O'Sullivan. Soon, the Doctor and Molly find themselves thrown headlong into a series of dangerous and terrifying adventures, with the dreaded Daleks never far behind them. And I really like the design on the back. Again, you've got that whole motif of the dark purple and black. It just goes from dark purple to black from bottom to top, and you've got this X, this cross, and you can kind of see that here as well, with the eyes being at the top part of the cross. So overall, the design of the box set is really, really nice. I really love this. It's a nice little box set for the CDs. Very nice artwork, and the top there, it just says Doctor Who Dark Eyes, and gives you all the riff-raff at the bottom there. So, without further ado, let's finally take a look at the stories inside here. Now here we have the first part of this box set, which is The Great War by Nicholas Briggs. Oh, and by the way, Nicholas Briggs writes all of the stories in this box set, so just to let you know that. On the cover, we have the usual Big Finish audio design that we've seen for the last few years, since 2008, I believe. Or 2007, it was one of those years, and you can see the whole strip here, and it gives you all the information about the story, tells you the name of the story, what Doctor it is. Of course, with Paul McGann and his new appearance in this, they've updated his look, and you can see that it looks like they've updated what would be his title sequence if this actually was on TV, and it's a really nice design. You've got him there, and you've got him in this vortex, and it just tells you who's in this. It's featuring Peter Egan, Toby Jones, with Nicholas Briggs as the Daleks, and on the cover you can see more of these wiring. It's to do with the First World War. This is when it's set. Really good. Of course, with me being a big history buff, this is right up my street. It's a really great start for this box set. At the top it just says Classic Doctor's Brand New Adventures. We have Paul McGann here, the 8th Doctor. We have Molly O'Sullivan as a nurse. We have a plane, and we have these Daleks here, and this is in the battlefield. So a really nice cover, and as you will learn in a minute, it is a really good story. And it just says at the side there, The Audio Adventures of Doctor Who. And that is the spine. So the spine, it just says what the story is, and it says at the bottom 1.1, and then it goes 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. And you got the little picture of Paul McGann at the top there as well. And again, you've got that purple going on there again. And here is the info. You may not be able to see it on camera. I'll just read it out quickly. Voluntary Aid Detachment nursing assistant Molly O'Sullivan spends her days facing the horrors of the Great War. Little does she know that a man from another world has arrived, looking for her. But what are the strange sounds coming from the battlefield at night? Where is the glowing gas coming from? And is everyone who they claim to be? And the cast, it just gives you a look at the cast. Straxus, that's who Peter Egan plays. He plays a Time Lord called Straxus, and he sends the Doctor on this mission. And Toby Jones, he plays a character called Cotterus, and he is kind of like the villain in this, along with the Daleks. And there's the rest of the cast. Very good cast. You know, they all do an excellent job for the audio, and you can see all the information here. It says not to be sold separately, seeing as it's been made into a box set. The running time on this is 60 minutes, so it's a full hour long, and this was made in 2012, and it just gives you all the rest of the information there. And inside, it just gives you some info about what these characters are all about. So it gives you a bio on the 8th Doctor, Molly O'Sullivan, Straxus, and Cotteris, and that's what the disc looks like. It's a really nice design, and I just get the leaflet out of here if I can. Hopefully I can. Please come out. So I can open this up. There's the front cover again, and you've got some nice art there of the Eighth Doctor in the battlefield along with the TARDIS, and you can see it. The TARDIS looks the same as it did in the TV movie, which is really nice. I really love the art, what they come with in these audios. It's absolutely fantastic. It gives you the sense that if this was actually on TV, this is what it would look like. And if I just take the CD out, you can see that one thing that Big Finish are good at is advertising their other stuff, and you can see they're advertising here the other Eighth Doctor adventures that came out before this, that starred Paul McGann and Sheridan Smith as Lucy Miller. And there's quite a few audios there. So what do I think of The Great War? Well, I think it's an absolutely marvellous start to Dark Eyes. Absolutely fantastic. Paul McGann, he's on top form. He sounds really enthusiastic in the story because Paul McGann himself, he's got a great interest in World War One. He's a history buff like me as well. I think Ruth Bradley as Molly O'Sullivan, it's the first time that we learn about her, first time that we hear her, and I think Ruth Bradley does a good job. She's actually the first Irish companion that the Doctor has had, I believe, which is really good. The story, it's got a really good pace. Starts off with the Doctor in peril. He's looking for hope because some bad stuff has just happened to him in the previous story that came out before Dark Eyes. And Dark Eyes itself, the whole saga, it's kind of like a new beginning for the Eighth Doctor. Hence why he's got his new look, his new clothes, shorter hair and everything like that. And I must say that this start to the Dark Eyes box set is a really dark one. You can see where it's going towards the end of the story. Nice cliffhanger at the end. Some nice twists along the way as well. The Eighth Doctor is unconscious for quite a bit of this audio. But likewise, everything else, the supporting cast, I think they all do an amazing job. Peter Egan and Toby Jones. You hardly hear Toby Jones in this. You'll hear him a couple times in this part of Dark Eyes. He features more towards the end of Dark Eyes. But I think for what it's worth, The Great War is an amazing start to this box set, and I just wanted to carry on listening to the rest of the box set after I listened to it. It was amazing. So if I had to give this a score, I'd probably give this something like a 9.5 or a 10 out of 10. Next up in this box set, we have Fugitives, the second part. And I must say the cover in this kicks ass. I think here is the bit where the Doctor and Molly go into the Second World War, because the TARDIS travels to multiple points in time in this story, and this bit with the car and everything, and with the Daleks flying about, I think that's meant to be in the 1970s, as part of it is set in the 1970s. So there's quite a few settings in this story just by looking at the front cover, and it was really intriguing to me. So again, we have new shots of the Eighth Doctor and Molly O'Sullivan. Molly has now properly become a companion, or she is becoming a companion of the Eighth Doctor. They're just running away from the Daleks. It takes off immediately after the events of the Great War, and the Daleks on this, they've got those things, those homopod things that you would have seen back in the days of the comic books when they had the Dalek comics in the 1960s and whatnot. And this bit is more or less exactly the same, except it says Fugitives. You got the same supporting cast and everything. So I think the cover is really nice with the Dalek death ray going all the way down here, and Doctor and Molly running away, the explosion behind them. Really nice cover. So at the back, you can see, yeah, we've got scratches on the back. Unfortunately, I'm really sorry about that. It just came like that when I got this, and it was really annoying. But hey, these things happen. So with the first objective of his mission reached, almost nothing is going to plan for the Doctor. He finds he cannot contact or return to the Time Lord's home planet, Gallifrey. And just when Molly O'Sullivan thinks she's escaped one conflict, she finds herself in the thick of another one. What is it that connects the Doctor, the Daleks, and the mysterious AIDS Scientific Institute? So very interesting developments that go on in here. And again, this is 60 minutes long and came out in 2012. All of it came out in 2012. And the cast, more or less the same as before. You've got a few different cast members in here because it's different characters. Inside we have the writer's notes by the director and writer of this amazing box set, Nicholas Briggs, and of course Nicholas Briggs also voices a Dalek, so he's a very busy guy and he's a good writer. God knows why he's not actually wrote for the TV series by now, because he's done an amazing job with this box set. Again, here's the disc, and you can take that out. I'll just show you that in a minute. I'll just take the leaflet out just to give you guys a look at the art inside. And you can see here, this time we have Molly O'Sullivan with the 8th Doctor. And the 8th Doctor is inside the laboratory in this. And then we get this bit, which features towards the end. And it's this weird planet, and all the gravity is messed up, and you've got all these dolphins, and it's really nice. You got all this other planet there with a moon, you got all these ships and cliff top, and it's just really good artwork. Again, love it. I'll just pop that back in. It's very easy to put these back in. It's sometimes it could be difficult getting them out, but I've managed to get that out. I'll just take the disc out. This time it doesn't advertise the same thing. Instead it advertises the monthly releases, and in this particular advertisement it's advertising The Burning Prince starring Peter Davison, The Acheron Pulse starring Colin Baker, The Shadow Heart starring Sylvester McCoy, and 1001 Nights starring Peter Davison and Sarah Sutton, who played Nyssa. And you can see follow the ongoing adventures of the 5th, 6th and 7th Doctors on audio, with double disc release every month. And they've made one every month since 1999, which is a remarkable achievement. They've just gone over 200 releases now, which is absolutely amazing. So kudos to Big Finish. They do amazing audios, and this is no exception. Fugitives, again, I wasn't sure if this was going to be as good as The Great War, but having listened to it a couple of times now, I can easily say that this is great. It may be as good as The Great War. The Great War, of course, it was an amazing beginning to this whole saga, and Fugitives just kicks off right where it left off, and there's a lot going on in this story. Again, you don't really hear Cotteris until the end of the story. You get a bit more of the Daleks. This story is mainly about the developing relationship between the Doctor and Molly, because obviously him and Molly, they didn't exactly get off to the best of starts. Molly thought he was daft. He thought that the Doctor was insane in the Great War, and now, as the Doctor has taken Molly in, he's took her into the TARDIS. You learn all these interesting things, like she says that she's been there before, and she's a really intriguing character. Again, Ruth Bradley does a good job as Molly O'Sullivan, as does Paul McGann. I just really like all the places where they go. Like, they end up landing in the Second World War. They end up in the 1970s. They end up on this futuristic planet with all these dolphins in this wave thing. It's really, really good. I really enjoy it, and all the way through the Daleks are following them, and the Daleks in this are really good. And I think that Peter Egan as well, he does a good job as Straxus. I think that overall, if I was to give this a score, I'd probably give this a 9.5 out of 10. I'm not sure which is better, Fugitives or The Great War. I maybe would have to listen to it yet again, but it's close to a 10. It could be a 10. Yeah, I'll give it a 9.5 or a 10 out of 10 again. It's on par with The Great War in my opinion. It's amazing. I love this audio. It's amazing. Next up is Tangled Web. Now this is more about the origins of Molly O'Sullivan, where she come from, and how come she got these dark eyes, seeing as she is the one with the dark eyes, hence why it's all called Dark Eyes. It's all about Molly O'Sullivan. On the cover, there's not as much going on. It looks like this corridor, this massive corridor, it's all green, all alien and things. Molly is inside the corridor, and it looks to me like the corridor that features towards the end of the story. I won't give too much away, but if you listen to it, you may understand more about this whole images that you've got on the front cover. And here we have Cotris, as played by Toby Jones, holding a baby, and the baby is Molly O'Sullivan. And Cotris, of course, he's an interesting character. We'll learn more about him here, and we learn that he is a Time Lord. So, like the Doctor and like Straxus, Cotris is also a Time Lord, a renegade Time Lord, and he's now working with the Daleks. So he's changed sides. So something's happened when Molly O'Sullivan was just 2 years old, and the Doctor thinks it's high time they found out exactly what it was. Meanwhile, the Daleks are fully activating the temporal chamber, and while the Doctor and Molly get closer and closer to the terrible truth, the nature of reality itself seems to be in question. And this is also 60 minutes long. It's a very interesting story, this. He got the director's notes. Again, Nicholas Briggs, he was the director and writer of this, so very busy. And he also voiced the Daleks. And here we have an advertisement for the Companion Chronicles. And that is the concept art for this story. You can see Tangled, you've got all these things. I won't give away what they are. You may guess what they are already though. And again, we've got the same image of the 8th Doctor that you see on the front of this box set. We've got Molly O'Sullivan, which you see on front of this story. And we've got this character here, who is Straxus, as played by Peter Egan. Again, amazing concept art. The way it's designed, it's just wonderful. So yeah, like I was saying, it's a very interesting story, and what Nicholas Briggs does here is quite a good idea, and at the same time it's really disturbing. Of course, the Daleks feature in this as well, and I must say, the Daleks in this, they're nothing like they are before. I won't give too much away again. I don't want to spoil it for those of you who haven't listened to this, but the Daleks in this, what Nicholas Briggs does with the Daleks, like the way he writes them and the way that he performs them in this, it's something that hasn't actually necessarily been done in Doctor Who before. It's a really interesting idea, and I quite like what they did. But of course, there is a price that the Doctor and Molly have to pay at the very end of this story, and that leads us into the very final story of the box set, which is X and the Daleks, which I'll go on to in a minute. But before that, I'll give this a score. Tangled Web, like I said, is a very interesting tale. You learn even more about Molly O'Sullivan. The Doctor wants to know why she got these dark eyes, why does she know all this stuff about the TARDIS, and all of that type of stuff. And he goes back in time, he finds that this person who is Cotris, he has gone back in time to when she was a child. So they go back to when she was a child, and you hear her parents and things like that. So yeah, it's an origin story, and then, of course, the Doctor's quest to find Gallifrey and return to Gallifrey is still happening, because obviously in Fugitives he tried all the way through that story and he ended up going into the wrong places. The TARDIS wouldn't let him go back to Gallifrey. So what do I give this? Well, it's a good story. I'm not sure if it's as good as the previous two. I'd probably give this one an 8 out of 10, but I think it's still really good. I think that it's a good lead up into the final story of this box set. So yeah, 8 out of 10. And now it's time for the final part of this box set, which is X and the Daleks. Now, on the cover here, it looks like the background here, it's the inside of the TARDIS with all the roundels and stuff. I don't know if it is meant to be the inside of the TARDIS, but that's what it looks like to me. And again, we've got all these 60s Daleks here. I really love the 60s Daleks. And, of course, they are returning in Series 9 of Doctor Who, the new series. And, again, we've got Paul McGann here looking awesome. We've got Molly O'Sullivan knelt down, looked like she's got something coming down onto her head, like something's draining her. And we have this character, Cotris, who plays a major role in this final part of the story. And Cotris is X. So the X in the title of this, X and the Daleks, this is who X is. This is Cotris, as the Time Lords call him X. And yeah, I really love this cover again. Brilliant design. And at the back, again, we have some information about this. We've got a quote again. Subject is called Molly O'Sullivan, an inhabitant of Earth, born Earth year 1891, has travelled in space and time with Time Lord known as the Doctor. With Stractus and the TARDIS destroyed, the Doctor and Molly have tracked the mysterious X to the planet Strangar. It is here that the truth of the threat of the universe will be finally revealed. What is the Dalek time controller's ultimate plan? what exactly is the space-time projector? Who will survive this epic battle? And in the cast, there's not as many people on this story as the others, which is good. All the people in this, they play a marvellous role in this. And this is 120 minutes because we've got a bonus documentary disc. So the story itself is 60 minutes and the documentary is also 60 minutes. And here this time in the leaflet we've got an advertisement for Doctor Who magazine, and you can see that one's all about Asylum of the Daleks. And again you've got credits about behind the scenes and things like that. I'll just take this out to give you a look at the amazing art inside. I can just stand the CD up without it falling down. There we go. So there's the art for this, and it really does look like the TARDIS. It probably isn't though. It might just be the Dalek spaceship. It just looks an awful lot like the interior of the TARDIS, and you've got all these things going around as if they're travelling in time and stuff. The Eighth Doctor's here. We've got Cotris again. We've got a couple of 60s Daleks there, and we've got this Dalek here, this blue Dalek with this thing going on. You can see the neck point. That's a lot bigger, and they've got no. Well, they've got a bit of grating there, but they're not at the front. A very interesting design for a Dalek, and this particular Dalek is, of course, a Dalek time controller, and we'll learn more about this Dalek in this story, as it was alluded to in previous stories in this, but we finally learn the true nature of what the hell this Dalek is. And like I said before, this is actually a 2-disc set, so if I can just put this down here, you can open it up like that. So there we have the behind the scenes documentary, and that is the actual audio story itself. And here the advertisement this time is for the Fourth Doctor Adventure, starring Tom Baker and Louise Jameson as Leela. And we have the Wrath of the Iceni, Energy of the Daleks, Trail of the White Worm, and the Asylum Adventure. So, look very good. Excellent Daleks is a great finale to the Dark Eyes box set. Straight away I'm going to give this a 9.5 or a 10 out of 10. Yet again, I think it's an absolutely great way to finish this box set. I think that a lot of things are resolved in this, and there's a massive twist in this story, which, to be honest, I didn't even see coming. We get the Dalek time controller. It's absolutely ruthless, as are the Daleks. And Paul McGann again, he's absolutely brilliant. He shines a lot more in these audios, as he didn't really have that time to shine in the TV movie. And in The Night of the Doctor, he's more like he is in the audios, which is great, because I think the audios is the Eighth Doctor's main area, and Paul McGann is really good at that, because in audios you can't see the actors, you can listen to them. So the way he performs and the way all the rest of the cast in this perform, really good. All the characters are good. There's not one character in this entire box set that I thought was weak. I thought that every character was good. So overall, yeah, 9.5 out of 10. Great end to this box set. Great end to this first series of Dark Eyes. and it's really interesting to see what will happen in the follow-up to this, Dark Eyes 2. Finally, to conclude, I've said it all along in this review really, Dark Eyes is one of the best things in all of Doctor Who. I am deadly serious with you. If you are a massive Doctor Who fan, like myself, if you are a fan of the Eighth Doctor, if you are a fan of the audios and for some reason you happen not to have this, and if you're just big into things like this in general, even if you're not a Doctor Who fan, then this is ideal for you. Honestly, I think it's absolutely amazing. This sums up the Eighth Doctor perfectly. It shows a different side to him, shows a lot more to his character than what the TV movie ever did. Likewise, I think all of the other audios of the Eighth Doctor, they all do that in their own way because he's handled better. The writing's better, the direction's better, the stories are better. And in this, you've got 4 stories. All 4 of those stories are good. The only story that isn't as good as the others is Tangled Web, but that's still a great story. I gave 3 of these stories a 9.5 or a 10 out of 10. I gave Tangled Web an 8. Now for the overall score of Dark Eyes, the whole box set, I'm going to give this all a 9 out of 10. I think it's absolutely brilliant and it's essential to any Doctor Who fan. Honestly, I think that this is brilliant. I've said it so many times now, I've lost track of how many times I've said this is good. Is there nothing I can say that is bad about this? There isn't. There honestly is not anything bad I can say about this. It's brilliant. And it's really exciting to see what happens in the sequel to this box set, Dark Eyes 2. So thank you very much everybody for watching my review of Doctor Who Dark Eyes by Nicholas Briggs, produced by the wonderful company Big Finish. And if you have any recommendations for some Big Finish audios that I haven't got, I'm quite new to this, then please leave as many recommendations as you can below. You don't have to put just one down, you can put as many as you can down. And you can also say what range that I could collect, as this particular box set is part of the 8th Doctor Adventures range. There's loads of ranges that Big Finish makes. It's a whole new universe for Doctor Who. So yeah, marvellous, great. I would definitely get this box set. Everyone's brilliant in this, and it's well worth it in my opinion. If you go on Amazon, you can get it for a minimum of £20. That's what I got it for anyway. So stay tuned for more reviews by me, the Obsessive 95. I hope you tuned in all the way through this video, and I hope I didn't bore you. I know this review is going to be really long, but I enjoyed reviewing it. I hope you enjoyed this, and I shall see you very soon. So stay tuned next time. Bye for now. Don't forget to click the link below to subscribe to me, James Croft, aka the Obsessive 95. Have a great day.